So here we are, the final book of the series. Time to bid a fond farewell to all of our friends at River Heights High. Nikki and Tim decide to celebrate the occasion by... Nah, I'm just kidding. Nikki and Tim aren't in this book. Why would the two main characters show up for the finale? Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review. This book actually wraps up the Lacey-Rick storyline. I thought it was already resolved, but apparently not! We still need to learn why Rick hates Lacey so much! And before you say Rick hates Lacey because she left him for his brother, no, that's not it! There's something more! Something involving Rick's new girlfriend, Katie Fox. Katie swims against Robin for a school competition. Robin easily wins, since Katie is still recovering from physical therapy. Katie lets her inner villain shine through, and she yells at Rick. "This is all your fault, Rick! How dare you cheer at the swim meet! You're not allowed to cheer for your school and friends when your girlfriend is competing against them!" Katie turns around and is extra nice to Robin. She compliments Robin's clothes and complains about her swim coach. Robin feels bad for Katie and hopes they can be friends. Uh-oh. Sounds like she's falling into the jealousy trap. Meanwhile, Terry D'Amato goes on her first date with Brian. She's nervous because this is her first date ever, and she doesn't want him to know it. You know, like he's going to cancel the date on the spot if he finds out she hasn't gone to a movie with a guy before. The date goes well, and she gets the first kiss that she's always dreamed of. Our new main character today is Phyllis Brouchard, the overweight girl. She feels bad about her weight, and she purposely stays behind in gym class so no one can see her changing. Phyllis talks with Brittany. The two of them used to be best friends growing up, until Brittany went through puberty and became a scheming boy-crazy monster. Sounds right to me. Brittany makes a comment about Phyllis dancing with Tim in book 14. It's either a snide remark or a joke. Hard to tell with that girl. Phyllis responds with a nasty insult and leaves. We have a scene with Hal Evans and Wayne Yates, the two guys who always suck up to Jeremy Pratt. Honestly, I forgot these two even existed. We haven't seen them with Jeremy in over 10 books. Hal and Wayne like to think they're romance experts and all the girls in school are in love with them. In reality, no woman can stand to be around them for very long because they're slimy creeps. Hal figures Samantha is ready for a rebound relationship. He tries to hit on her, and she rejects him hard. Wayne laughs, and the two of them start fighting. They decide to have a love competition. Whoever can get Phyllis to fall in love with him first is the winner. Robin gets picked to represent River Heights on Sports Day, a citywide high school sports competition. So once again, she'll be swimming against Katie. Katie and Robin go shopping together, and Katie is nice the whole time. They get food, but Katie changes her order at the last second, leaving Robin to eat a big, unhealthy ice cream sundae all by herself. I think I know what Katie is up to. Katie tells Robin that her practice time is limited to afternoons. Robin offers to help coach Katie, even though that means Robin will lose her own practice time. Katie accepts, but she asks Robin to keep this a secret from Rick, because reasons. Hal calls Phyllis at home, pretending he doesn't know what their English assignment is. He makes small talk, and he's purposely awkward and nervous, in order to trick her into thinking he's got a sensitive side. I hate guys like that. Jerks like you ruined everything for legitimately awkward guys like me in high school. Hal asks Phyllis to have lunch with him in the cafeteria tomorrow. Her heart beats quickly as she agrees. Phyllis's older brother Will warns her to stay away from Hal because he's a slimeball. Phyllis tells Will to mind his own business. The lunch date with Hal goes badly. Hal seems bored the entire time. He gets angry when Phyllis makes jokes, and he ignores her in order to talk about his car. That sounds like a bad date to me, but Phyllis thinks the date went well. So when Hal asks her out for another date, she casually accepts. Wayne tries the direct approach with Phyllis. He leans against her locker and refuses to move unless she goes out with him. Again, she casually accepts. I actually liked Phyllis's woman-of-the-world attitude when dealing with the guys. It was neat. Internally, she is screaming the whole time, but she pretends to be casual. She decides she has to lose weight now that she has suitors, so she makes a bad decision and buys outrageous weight loss pills. We'd probably get more details about Phyllis and the weight loss pills, but there's no time for that. We have to wrap up Terry's storyline from the previous book. Terry goes to Ellen's house, where Ellen is babysitting 7-year-old twins, Eric and Elliot. Their older brother, Lawrence, is a senior at Talbot, a really brainy guy. And why are we doing this? This is the last book of the series. Why are we going into so much detail about new characters? Anyway, Terry goes to Ellen's house and confesses she lied about Mickey. The friends are angry. Then she tells them how she made out with Brian. The friends are happy. And that's it for Terry. Phyllis's date with Hal goes well, for real this time. He kisses her at the end, and he offers to take her to Moon Lake. Phyllis says no way, she's not going to Moon Lake with a guy at night. That's when the ghost dogs attack. She doesn't want a bad reputation. Hal figures he came on too strong and decides to ask her again later. Robin ends up missing a lot of swim practices, since Katie keeps inviting her out to eat huge meals. Also, Katie calls Robin late at night, so Robin oversleeps and misses morning practice. Lacey warns Robin that Katie is a sneaky person who can't be trusted. Robin refuses to believe that Katie is mean, even though she saw Katie yell at Rick at the start of the book. Continuity! Also, Robin commented on Katie's nastiness on page 5 of book 14. Katie interrupts the conversation at this point, and she purposely brags about Rick in front of Lacey just to put her down. Robin still refuses to believe Katie's a bad person because... Okay, there's no excusing it. Robin is blind to Katie's schemes because the story requires it. Phyllis's date with Wayne is okay, but he's bad at talking. She gets irritated with him, and she borderline dislikes him. But when he starts kissing her, she can't stop herself from kissing back. Phyllis's brother gives her a hard time about dating 2 guys at once, and she gets offended, like he believes there's no way any guy could like her. She yells at Will, then runs to her room and eats a ton of diet pills. Katie makes Robin miss practice again. Robin talks with Calvin about it, and he agrees Katie could be sabotaging her. They start a loud argument where they both shout about how much they love each other, and it's actually kind of hilarious. Why did this series get canceled? I am going to miss this series. Hal and Wayne brag to each other about their dates. When they learn Phyllis made out with both of them, they start fighting over who's the better kisser. They decide to settle the matter once and for all by making out with each other. No, I'm just kidding. They decide they need an impartial judge. At this point, the author realizes there's really not enough room to finish all the stories in a timely fashion, so we rush through 3 storylines. First, Matt breaks up with his girlfriend off-screen, so now Brittany can date him. Hooray for Brittany. Second, Phyllis's emotions go out of control, and her friends start to worry about the diet pills. Third, Wayne gets kicked out of the book. Phyllis breaks up with him, and nobody is sad to see him go. The guys pick Jeremy as the judge of their love contest. The plan is that Hal will seduce Phyllis at Moon Lake. Jeremy will spy on them from the bushes and decide whether or not she's in love with Hal. Jeremy thinks the plan is sleazy and awful, but he agrees to go along with it because Hal is his friend. And besides, if we don't stop Hal now, he's probably going to do something even more sleazy. Brittany overhears the whole thing, and because she used to be friends with Phyllis, she tells Phyllis what Hal is planning. Phyllis is furious that Hal never liked her, and she throws a huge fit. She gets rid of her diet pills and prepares to eat herself into oblivion. That's when Brittany convinces her food isn't the answer. Revenge! That's the answer! Yeah, it sounds like something Brittany would say. Brittany comes up with a grand revenge scheme, which involves Phyllis's brother Will. It just so happens that Will is best friends with Matt, so Brittany gets to do the right thing and spend time with her crush. It's a win-win scenario for her. Lacey confronts Rick over his grudge against her. I love how she has no problems whatsoever jumping right into this conversation, when she spent an entire book trying and failing to talk to him about Tom. Continuity! It turns out that Rick's grudge is because of Katie. Katie told Rick Lacey was cheating on him for weeks. That's an obvious lie, and it's easily disproven, but Rick is not going to let the truth get in the way of love drama. Rick casually mentions that Katie has swimming practice every night, even though Katie told Robin otherwise. Lacey suddenly realizes Katie is sabotaging Robin for the big swimming competition. Lacey decides to expose Katie by inviting Robin out for pizza. Because, maybe Katie will be there? That's not a good plan, Lacey. Why didn't you go straight to Robin's house and tell her outright, like Brittany did with Phyllis? Now Robin's gonna miss yet another practice and get yet another unhealthy meal right before the swim competition. Katie doesn't show up at the pizza place, so Lacey's plan is a failure. She drives by Katie's school on the way home, and there's a minor confrontation with Katie. This backfires, as Katie makes an excuse and Robin gets mad at Lacey. Phyllis and Hal go to sports day together, and she purposely embarrasses him by making him hold her purse all the time, and she forces him to run a bunch of embarrassing errands for her. Samantha and Robbie record all of this on camera for their TV show. Sadly, Robin loses the swimming competition. When she sees how much Katie has improved, she realizes her friends were right and she was duped. She confronts Katie about it, who says it was all worth it. Winning is everything to her. Robin threatens to expose Katie's scheme unless she tells Tom the truth about Lacey. Katie swears to get revenge on them someday, but this is the last book, so nobody takes her threat seriously. At Moon Lake, Phyllis breaks up with Hal. She says she only went out with him because she felt sorry for him, because he's a loser. But she can't put up with the charade anymore. Their dates are so boring, and he is such a bad kisser. Jeremy, Kim, Brittany, Matt, and Robbie all laugh at Hal about the fact that he's an awful person, and they strand him at Moon Lake. Hal is forced to walk home alone. We end on a happy note. Phyllis pledges to get her life back on track, now that she's learned her self-esteem shouldn't be tied to a boy or her weight. Rick makes up with Lacey and Tom, while Robin makes up with Lacey and Nikki. Brittany snuggles close to Matt on the car ride home. Nothing can stop her from getting the man of her dreams now. Nothing. The end. Post-book follow-up. Whew, what a book! It feels like 2 or 3 books combined into one. Especially with Phyllis's storylines. She has dating drama with Hal and Wayne, but due to space limitations, we don't see much of her and Wayne. The book just focuses on her and Hal. Only one of the Hal-Phyllis scenes was done from Hal's perspective, and it was so good, I wanted to see another scene like that. It's rare for us to have a scene from the guy's perspective in this series, you know? But it was equally good seeing the scenes from Phyllis's perspective. I especially liked how she surprised herself by being overconfident. That was unexpected. I felt like Phyllis's weight loss obsession and pill addiction were glossed over, or at least rushed. Which is kind of a shame because those are serious topics that deserve more attention. That easily could have been expanded into Phyllis's full story without any of the dating stuff. I also think they could have expanded the subplot of Phyllis not getting along with her 4 brothers. That was interesting, and I wanted to see more of that, but it was mostly reduced to Will is concerned about Phyllis. And then that got hijacked by Brittany and was turned into Will is friends with Matt, so now Brittany can hang out with Matt story. Now that was a rushed story. It's clearly just a transparent excuse for Brittany to end the series with a boyfriend, even if the boyfriend is a random guy who has no lines at all in this book. The good news is they didn't rush the 3 scenes where Brittany talks with Phyllis, so we got a decent amount of nice, serious Brittany in this book. That is a good way for her to finish the series, and I hope that this time her transformation into a nice person actually sticks. I didn't like Lacey's storyline, mostly because I thought it was unnecessary. We already resolved the tension between Lacey and Rick, as well as Lacey and Robin. I thought we were done with that. Why bring it back? It wasn't a bad story, but I think the book would have been fine without it. Robin's storyline was good, although it was kind of painful how she was so oblivious to Katie's obvious plotting. Robin was decent enough during the story, and the final confrontation was intense. If anything, I'm disappointed that Robin didn't go farther in exposing Katie, so thumbs up there. Terry's storyline was, oh yeah, there was a storyline with Terry in this book. I almost forgot. It was a by-the-book wrap-up of last book's story. She has a good date with Brian in one chapter. She tells her friends the truth in another chapter. That's it. Nothing too complicated or detailed. Overall, this book is not a bad note to finish the series on. It's got lots of characters and lots of story. As I said in previous reviews, they should have done this earlier. Get rid of the Terry D'Amato in the previous book and this book. Get rid of that stuff completely. Use all the space we just freed up to either expand the stories in this book or give us closure for some other characters like Nikki or Karen. I give River Heights number 16, The Jealousy Trap, a 7 out of 10.